Hello everybody, I am Ishika Sharma. I assist Deepthi Gubba, who is the Chief Growth Officer at Gubba Cold Storage in branding and communications of this organization. When we talk of the Indian seed industry, there's a lot of blood, sweat, heart, a lot of pious and immense contribution that goes from legends to make the Indian seed industry what it is today. And when we look at that list, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, who is with us today, the director of ICAR, Indian Institute of Seed Science, will top the list. So, sir, please tell us something about you and ICAR.
Thank you, Ishika. ICR, in fact, when you talked about the ICAR and talk about the agriculture, so both, in fact, are the intermix. We all know that agriculture is our main profession, and in fact, any country economy depend on agriculture. If you just see what was our production, what was the level of hunger, what was the level of availability of food after the independence, in fact, we were the begging bowl. The term was coined ship to mouth. So we were totally dependent upon the import of the food grain from the other developed countries. Now we are surplus. And to achieving this goal, ICR has significant contribution in this. ICR works under the Ministry of Government of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, under the Department of Agriculture Research and Education. There are more than 100 institutes spread all over the country. And our institute, Indian Institute of Seed Science, is one of them. So it's working on the different aspects of the agriculture development and growth. What we normally, in fact, imagine about the agriculture, be it normal farming of different crops, or the animal production, fish production, poultry production, in every sector, our country has achieved a very significant growth. In fact, in the last 70 years, our total production level has increased. In fact, earlier for the number of the crop, we were in fact at the bottom of the list, or maybe somewhere there. Now, for the most of the crop, our country is on the top of the list. So this is the achievement of ICR.
Of course, sir. And going forward, what role do you think this very seed industry of India plays in the economic growth of India?
Again, just what I said, the production of agricultural commodity is to fulfill our hunger, is to fulfill the hunger of the country. It's very much essential for any economic development of country. And when we talk about the agriculture production, the first and foremost thing comes in the mind is the seed. Because seed is the basic material from where all the production start. Certainly, earlier, in fact, our research system was not in such a state that we were developing a lots of variety. But now, since last so many years, in fact, and almost all the crops, we have released a number of the varieties. And these varieties are a main basic input for the production. But these varieties, if not produced in sufficient quantity as a seed, then certainly it has no role. And here the role of the seed institute or the seed system comes. So if variety comes, and if seeds are not being produced, if it's not propagated to the ultimate user of the farmer, then certainly, in fact, we are not able to harvest the real benefit of what our researcher is doing. So not only in this, in fact, the production is the one aspect, but there are a number of the restriction, number of the limitation, in fact, regularly we are facing in the seed production system. So seed research in other part, how we can improve our total quality of seed so that we are in the position that we can supply quality seed to the last man, last end user of the country.
Research in the current system of Indian seed industry?
Yeah, in fact, thanks. In fact, I started my career as a wheat breeder. In fact, for 30 years, I was wheat breeder. So certainly a number of the wheat variety. In fact, I was associated in the somewhere as a team leader, some as a team member. So it's a team effort, not an individual effort. The first thing, but certainly, in fact, that being a part of the team that is regularly developing so many varieties, it gives you strength. It gives you strength in terms of the thinking, in terms of doing actually in the field. And when I got this opportunity, to head this position as a director of Indian Institute of Seed Science, certainly our major focus is to see what are the problems in the seed system of the country. And wherever there is any problem, maybe in the production or in any aspects of the seed system, so that is the identification of that problem and how we can rectify it by taking it as a challenge and starting some experimentation and validation so that finally we can conclude some concrete recommendation that this steps will help in the reducing this much of the harmful effect or the loss wherever we are getting in the seed production system, and we can improve that system.
That being said, sir, in the near future, what do you think are the challenges and the strategies from central government for improving our system?
Right. In fact, our major challenge here this time is the replacement of the seeds. So until and unless each and every farmer will not use quality seeds, will not achieve our targeted production. So to get this quality seed to each of the farmer, the seed replacement rate, that has to increase. If we see the present condition, most of the crops, we are hovering somewhere around 34-35% of the seed replacement rate. And that is not good. For hybrid, in the most of the crop, this percentage is high. But the normal in the open pollinated variety, this percentage is very low. And second one is the varietal replacement rate. That varietal replacement rate, in fact, that can be explained in very simple term as any new varieties, how being in fact taken into the seed production system. So if our contribution of the newly released variety, whatever developed during the last 5 years, and whatever we have developed during last 10 years, is what is contribution in the total seed system. That's so in fact the data about this varietal replacement rate. So our aim is also to in fact improve and increase the varietal replacement rate and certainly the seed replacement rate. These are the one point. But in fact, in the number of the our activity, seed production activity, we are facing a number of the challenges, and that's why in fact we have set up different groups to identify different challenges and take it as a research problem. So we can solve this whole problem of the national interest.
So that being said, do you see private players and the government joining hands could be one of the solution, or how do you think this can contribute as a solution to the problem?
It's a very good question. In fact, these in fact contribution, a share of the private industry is very much, but it's also very much skewed in terms of the type of the crop or the type of the seeds. Normally for the high volume crop, the share of the public system is very much high. But in case of the low volume crop, like vegetable or wherever some others crop or variety where the seed requirement is very low, and in the hybrid, in fact, in that particular segment, the share of public sector is very low, and that we have to improve, or we have to develop a synergistic system where the private and the public both can work together and utilize each other potential or a strength in the ultimate objective of the development of the farmer or the benefit of the farmer of the country.
So as we all know, they say youth is the future of the country, and ICAR has 111 institutes and 71 agriculture universities under it. So, what message from a rich expert like you, what do you think the youth should work on to take our Indian seed industry to another level?
Sure. In fact, not only the seed is certainly is a major factor that I am regularly saying. If you see, the government has given and the government is working to double or increase the farmers of income. So that means only production is not sufficient. So we have to develop entrepreneurship among our youth, among our farmers. And the seed sector has a very good opportunity in this entrepreneurship development program. A seed is the regular requirement of the country, regular requirement of the farmer. So its demand is certainly regularly will be in the market. So if someone sincerely, dedicatedly can involve in the seed production system, he or she can make a good career in the seed industry, in the seed business. And that's a very huge opportunity. Apart from this, in fact, the agriculture also has a potential. I have known number of the person who after doing all this are taking a good degree of graduation in agriculture and post graduation in agriculture started the farming job, and they are doing very well. Not only for the production here, in fact, they are in the export business of the number of the commodity to the number of the number of the country. So potential are very much there. Even nowadays, we are seeing, in fact, the students from the some other background, from the even from the software engineering side, they have left their job and started some agricultural work with the target group or the targeted market. So scopes are very much, there are lots of scope. Only thing you have to take it seriously. And the first thing, in fact, whatever the traditional way of doing our agriculture was there. So you have to divert from that. You have to learn from the system and then take these challenges of agriculture at a new height with aim of prosperity. And certainly that will be, ultimately it will be benefited to the farmer also.
Like you very rightly said, sir, that now in 2022, there is a scope, and it's high time that we change our systems and involve more technology, more innovations. The entire system is yet to get more organized. So what do you have to say about the new innovations that are there out there in the Western world, and we are yet to inculcate in India?
Yes, innovations are to increase our efficiency. And in fact, we are started using the new innovation. Maybe that's a new system of Internet of Things, or any other new technology of this drone technology. So in fact, now we have developed some system. And we have already started some experimentation how we can use this even in the seed production system to increase the efficiency of this program, because seed monitoring is a very tedious job. So with this in introduction of the drone system, we can use the monitoring system, because the whole seed production system depend upon the monitoring. Because unless and until you will monitor the seed in the perfect manner, certainly this quality will not be maintained. So it will take the use of the new innovation and the new technology. Certainly it will help. It will help to improve our whole system.
Right. And sir, what do you think should be the priorities of Indian R&D, Indian research and development sector right now?
Right. In fact, if we see our whole system of the government from the ICAR, in fact, we have the largest network system in the country of the seed production system, or the seed system that comes under the All India Coordinated Research Project on the quality seeds. This is the largest network among all the different network. In fact, a number of the network is being run under this umbrella of ICAR, but this is the largest network. We have around 65 centers all over the country, and the whole program is in the two part. One is the breeder seed production. Another part, breeder seed production and the quality seed production. And another part is the seed technology research. So whatever you asked just now, in fact, under the seed technology research, we have 5 different program under which we are doing research. One is the seed production system and certification. So in this part, in fact, we are mainly dealing with the whatever the problem we are facing in the production and then ultimately certification. So we are taking challenges and the basis of our experimentation and validation, we are suggesting the government to change or modify anything if it requires. Second is the seed physiology and storage. And this is really very challenging. In fact, the storage, I again congratulate Gubba that the storage system, they have done a lots of innovation, lots of development. In fact, uh, because if the storage is not proper, then the chances of deterioration of seeds are very much. Maybe through some development of the fungus or pathogen or some insects. So ultimately quality will reduce, its germination will reduce. So we have to make a good and efficient economic storage system. So all the crops have different problem, all the crop have different aspects. So not only the crop, even some for the same crop, different varieties, requirements are different. So as per the requirement of the variety and the crop, we are making our program how we can give the recommendation for the good storage system under the ambient condition, not only the cold storage system or only the change environment, but the ambient storage system also. Third one is the this under the seed health we have 2 program. One is the seed pathology, because all the diseases we all know about the diseases of the human being regularly we are facing, but at the same time, in fact, the seeds, the crops, they are also facing a number of the diseases, and seed is the root. So just imagine if a baby get infected, how it will affect. So if the seed get infected, its effect will be on the whole plant and the whole plot or the whole crop production system. So we are working on this for the different crop, different diseases are there. So we are working on all the diseases. As I said, we have the 65 center. So all over the country, in fact, we are identifying maybe the region wise or the zone wise. So the problem is they are identifying the problem and then the finding solution. Next is the entomology, and that's also covered. In fact, the storage, some sort of the storage, because the insect is the major problem also. So we are working how to control this insect problem. And the last is a very small group of the processing group, but it's very important. Because after the production of the seeds, the major part is the processing. And it require a number of the specification so that the good quality seed only will comes out, but again our loss should be minimum. And that's why the whole sieve size or different method even we can imply, so that we can maintain our the quality, but certainly our the loss will be minimum, and that is fully taken care by our the seed processing group.
So, like we very rightly spoke about seed processing, seed storing, warehousing. What are your thoughts on the seed testing system in the country right now?
Yeah, in fact, before we talk about the seed testing, there is a more thing about the seed class. Because for the general knowledge of in fact, the people, in fact, the number of the person who are engaged in this, they know, but there are different classes of the seeds. So it's start from the breeder seed, though there is some basic also the nuclear seed, but for the normal purposes, start from the breeder seed. And that breeder seed, maintaining the quality of breeder seed, is the responsibility of the concerned breeder or the concerned institute wherever it has been developed that variety. So for the testing norm, there is no defined norm for the quality of the breeder seed. But the bottom line is that should be of the highest level of purity. So that in fact we must ensure and we regularly ensure that the breeder seed quality must be of the highest level. In fact, there is no, in fact, any sort of giving any sort of some permissible limit that it should be like this or that, because unless and until your breeder seed will be the highest level of the purity, we cannot multiply into the next generation. So from the breeder seed, we produce the foundation seed, and the foundation seed we produce certified seed. So to maintain this quality of these two classes of seed, foundation and certified seed, seed certification agencies come into existence. And presently, in fact, 25 states has their own seed certification agencies. And these agencies certify seed on the basis of the norms. That norms has been defined under the Indian Minimum Seed Certification Standard. We are also working on this standard, so wherever in fact it's required, as per our experimentation and validation, we'll suggest it to the ministry that these norms need to be changed, and ultimately it will notify in the Indian Minimum Seed Certification Standard. So to test this, in fact, though the responsibility of this is of the concerned state seed certification agency, we have a number of the seed testing laboratories. Some laboratories are directly under the supervision or working under the supervision of this seed certification agency. Some are affiliated with this seed certification agency. Some are accredited with some other accreditation agency like NAVL. But the highest quality of this accreditation is of the ISTA, International Seed Testing Association accreditation. Unfortunately, we are not up to the mark, in fact, in this ISTA accreditation in our country. Presently, in fact, to date, in fact, the only 8 laboratory we have as the accredited laboratory, ISTA accredited laboratory in the country, though around 17 or 18 ISTA members laboratories are there, and that member laboratory, in fact, are working to get their accreditation level also. One of the, in fact, our laboratory at the Indian Institute of Seed Science, we are also member of the ISTA member, but we are trying our best to get accreditation. Maybe within 2-3 years in the coming days, we'll get accreditation. But presently, only the 2 government agencies are ISTA accredited. So out of 8, 6 are from the private side. So that's why, in fact, you can see the role of the private seed sector is very important, because not only the production level, even the maintaining the quality of the seeds, they are doing also immense job. And unless and until we'll get our laboratory upgraded to the ISTA accreditation, our share in our export business will not increase. Presently, hardly we have our share 1.5% in the total export category. Our aim is to increase it by 10% in coming 4 and 5 years. So for this, certainly the norms and the standard of our quality laboratory has to be increased.
So like you said, you would like to propose some changes in norms to the ministry. Can you elaborate on what these changes could be, sir?
The changes are requirement, like how ODB are for some crop ODB are this much. So from the experimentation we see no, this is not required. Some isolation distance also, in fact, whatever the minimum standard is there, isolation requirement, isolation distance. So as per our experimentation, if we see no, this much, in fact, isolation distance is not sufficient. Even the pollen of that particular crop is flowing far behind this, in fact, whatever the prescribed node. So in this way, in fact, our series of experimentation and validation on the larger scale, we suggest and we recommend it to make amendment in the minimum seed certification standard.
Okay. And so what are your thoughts? Like, we recently, over a period of study and close interaction with the Indian seed industry since 35 years, we came to know that the pain point of Indian seed industry is multi-location testing. What are your thoughts on these, sir?
Yeah, so in fact, it's a very, in fact, the development of the variety when we talk. So in fact, this is being practiced since long in our ICAR system. So first, I think this coordinated for this multi-location testing only, this concept of the All India Coordinated Research Project was started So it started long back in the, I think, in the late 50s and the early 60s. So from there, in fact, regularly we are modifying also as per the requirement. We are dividing the different zones as per the different agroclimatic situation for the different country, so that what we are testing at a multi-location, and we can in fact make inferences about the any particular region with the same this geographic condition. So we are already doing this, and it's a very good program of the Indian Council of Agriculture Research under the AICRP.
Okay. And sir, we generally see the seed companies doing in-house MLT. And now if private players want to come and join hands and serve the Indian seed industry by being a outsourced party for multi-location testing, what is your thoughts?
It's already open. A number of the private seed company, they are already giving their entries in the AICRP system, and on the basis of their recommendation of that AICRP, that particular variety is being released as a release of the through the Central Varietal Release Committee or the State Varietal Release Committee. But certainly a number of the varieties, in fact, the private companies are getting released as their research variety. But I believe with this new seed bill, these changes has to be occur. So some things further, in fact, the testing must be required with the national program.
We see ICAR contributing to the Indian seed industry in every aspect possible. In the next 3 years, what is the strategy of ICAR for developing the Indian seed industry?
Whatever I already said, in fact, our target is to increase seed replacement rate. Our target is to increase varietal replacement rate. Now, in fact, though we are self-sufficient in the food, but still we are finding malnutrition is a major problem. And that's why government has identified one very key areas, that development of biofortified crop. So by eating the crop itself, whatever they are getting more this nutrient. So the nutrient rich crop varieties, and in the last 7-8 years, a number of the nutrient rich biofortified crop variety has been really identified and the release. Our target is to get this variety in the seed production system and multiplied it very vigorously, so that it can be reached to the maximum level of our ultimate user. So that the production, once the production will start, certainly the major problem of the malnutrition, that will be subside. The another area, in fact, is the introduction of the new science, new technology, what we have already discussed. Maybe it's a drone or new thing, new Internet of Things, or any other new technology. The use of IT, how we can make use so that we can increase our efficiency in the whole production system, certification system.
Sir, the entire India, or rather the globe, is watching you, sir. Anything else you would like to tell us?
Yeah, fine. Ishika, we all are doing our own business. We all are doing our assigned work, be it in public sector or in the private sector. We are doing whatever we have assigned. By my sincere advice, my sincere submission to all the, not only the scientists, all the workers, all the different persons involved in the whole this seed production system and the marketing, they must think about the ultimate user, that is farmer. Whatever we are doing, if it's not of use of the farmer, certainly our effort is of no use. So whatever we are doing, you must consider the ultimate user of the farmer, how he is benefiting, he or she is benefiting from our different activities. That must be in our mind, and that only, in fact, the whole the work, whole the time of what we are engaged in, and that will be justified, and that will be the ultimate satisfaction to all of us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.